Today I'm determined to find the water leak in this 560 SL. If you've watched my previous videos, you know it all started by the mechanic telling the owner there was a coolant core leak and they had to bypass the core. And that's how the car has been driven for the last few years. If you've watched the other parts in this series, I think you know by now I don't think there's anything wrong with the heater core. But we did find moisture in the cabin. Now, I don't know how this occurred with the owner and why she felt like she had to have the heater core bypassed, or the mechanic. I just don't know all the history. Finding water inside on the floor on the driver's side leads me to believe that there was a lot of moisture in the car, and you know what happens when it gets in the carpets, it starts fogging up the windows. And unless you know how to really detect a coolant leak, it could have fooled them. They said, oh, your heater core is leaking and you know it's fogging up the inside of your car. When you're chasing water leaks like this, you have to use a systematic approach. You have to find out where the drains are located, then you have to isolate those sections and test each one. You can't just come outside and pour water all over the car and expect to find the source of the leak. You'll find that there's water in the car, but it may be difficult to isolate exactly where. So where is that water coming from that's down there on the driver's floor? Is it coming from the heater box assembly area and those drains? Is it coming from these vent drains? Is it coming from the windshield? So what I'm going to do today is go through the process of trying to find out exactly where this water's coming from. I've pulled the car out, I rehooked up the heater core, I've run the car for over an hour. There's no evidence of the heater core leaking. You're gonna say, well, Ken, how do you know that? Well, there's a drain there. And the drain's under the car. So what I'm gonna show you in a little bit is how I poured water right through the heater core, simulating a leak, and that water went right on to the ground, so there's not a plugged drain. So if the heater core had been leaking, you would have seen coolant on the ground underneath by the transmission. Let me show you a couple other things I'm suspicious about, and then we'll start the tests. The first thing I was suspicious about was rainwater getting into this heater box area. There can be a lot of problems in this area if your car has rust holes and if the drains have come loose. But if you have a clean box assembly like this with no rust out, all the drain hoses are attached, even if this cover leaks, the water is going to go down in here and out onto the ground. What made me suspicious was when I took this cover off. Look at that. Look at how warped that is. And the seal wasn't even sealing there. So I thought, oh yeah, well, rainwater is just pouring into here and then getting into the car. And that's not necessarily so. But once again, I got to say this. If you have a lot of rust in this area, all bets are off, okay? In fact, if you go out to buy a R107, you might want to pull this cover off before you give the seller any money. All right, so this one was really warped. The seal was bad. And I'm looking at this new one. Look at how straight the new one is. Look at how nice that's going to fit on there when I put that down with a new seal. But even if water gets there, there's this little lip, okay? That kind of makes the water run off. But I want to show you right now, I decided, okay, let's go ahead and make absolutely sure we don't have a problem here. And you can see now I'm pouring water into the heater core, straight into the heater core, as if it was leaking tons of coolant. Pouring and pouring and pouring, and then going underneath the car towards the transmission. You can see the water clearly draining out very rapidly. So I think this demonstrates, even if you do have a heater core leak, the coolant's going to get out to the ground if the drains are intact. All right? I got to keep saying that because some of these cars, those rubber drain tubes rot out, you know, and then you got other issues. Then I was thinking, well, there's a drain over here that a lot of the water can go into from these vents. So I thought, well, let's pour water into here, right into the side, because there's a barrier right there between this area and the heater motor box. So I poured water in here, once again, almost half a gallon. I kept pouring and pouring and pouring, hoping I'd get some indication that water from this drain was getting inside the cabin. And sure enough, looking under the car, take a look here, it's just running and running and pouring out at a very rapid rate. What does that mean? That means there's no problem here. The drains are working properly as they were designed. I'm going to put a new cover on. That's great, and get a new seal. But even if this seal were leaking in this situation, the water would not be getting inside the car. So we know the water is not coming into the inside from anything around that heater box assembly. Maybe we got something going wrong with one of the drains underneath this vent here. So I took a full gallon of water and poured it straight into here. Take a look underneath the car. There's no restriction. It's pouring out like crazy. And then going back inside the car, there's no wetness on the floor. So at this point, I'm really suspicious about the windshield. I can tell this is not the original windshield. It appears that this windshield has been replaced. The fit on the aluminum trim here is not factory perfect. So what I'm going to do now I know this is not the issue. If I wasn't sure, I could cover this up. But I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to pour 2 full gallons of water from here all the way up here. And we're going to see if we can get any wetness showing up inside the car. See, look at the water. It's kind of going inside that chrome strip. Here it's rolling on the outside. I'm going to get right in there. See that? And then bring it back over here. This is the area I'm real suspicious about here. See, it's not rolling out of the chrome there. Now you'll be surprised when you do these tests that you would think a gallon of water would be enough, but you got to really run the water because it takes a while for it to track. It's tracking underneath the dashboard and along the firewall and eventually getting down to the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and do another gallon. And we'll go off camera here because I think it's pretty obvious what I'm trying to do here. Okay, it's back inside to check for any evidence of water intrusion, but we're looking all the way up in here and all the way down on the carpet, and there's not even any dampness showing up here. So it's on to the next test. So Jerson's convinced it's coming through the door seal here, somewhere in this area, tracking down and getting on the floor. Let's give this one a try. We're just going to localize the water as if it's raining right in here. Now, if Jerson's right, I'm going to have to give him some happy dollars. Nah, it's not leaking through the door seal. We'll give it a real rainstorm here, all right?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, look.
Look over there.
No. Can you believe that? What do you see in there?
A lot of water. Look
Water leaking through the rearview mirror?
Yeah.
No, can't be.
Oh, that's it. Look how much water you have in the pocket in this door. So when you close the door, where the water go? You transfer inside the right here.
How could that be so?
Oh,
I've
man.
never seen a map pocket leak.
A lot of water.
What else do you see?
Looking from here.
Okay.
The water's running over here.
Where's the water? Oh, no.
Get into there.
Oh, shoot.
Come over
I'm going to
here.
need to give you some
Going
money
over
for
here
this.
and just go
No,
inside.
it's going right there. Look at that. Right down there. That's actually pretty easy to fix. Glad it's not the heater core.
Look at a lot of water.
Yeah, you got a lot of water down there?
Yeah.
All right. I
That's
want
what
you
it
to
is.
clean all this up for me. I got to go take a nap. That's how the old ball bounces.